headed for the courts, the Senate result in Western Australia to be tested on appeal.
The whole event is a huge embarrassment for the Australian electoral system.
Shaken but unharmed, a pilot and bystanders escape serious injury in a Melbourne chopper crash.
Everybody sort of turned and started running in the other direction, and debris started flying past us.
Family farewells, a moving ceremony at Taran Kot for Australian soldiers killed in Afghanistan.
Nothing will ever remove the pain and the loss, but just being here is a huge closure chapter, I think, for everybody.
And foreign forces, the international contenders, hoping to ride off with the Melbourne Cup.
It's obviously a huge race, world renowned, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Good evening, Lisa Maksimovic with ABC News. Political parties are lining up for a dash to the High Court as early as tomorrow to call for a fresh Senate election in Western Australia. Despite the disappearance of 1,300 ballots, the Electoral Commission will officially declare the result at midday. But challenges will quickly emerge, demanding a rerun early next year. Here's political correspondent Greg Jennett.
For a man who just won a job for another 6 years, Scott Ludlam is awfully deflated.
YouTube post, but declined to comment further. Brad Ryan, ABC News, Brisbane.
Protesters have sent a spectacular message to the state government over its controversial plan to allow private developments in national parks. Around 1,000 people gathered at Wilson's Promontory National Park last night to spell out their opposition to the changes. They're calling on the government to abandon plans to allow grazing, prospecting and 99-year leases for private developers. The protesters say parks are nature reserves and should be protected for future generations. The government says they're scaremongering and any proposal would have to go through a rigorous assessment process. It's a case of romantic intentions having unintended consequences. The effort to eradicate carp from Tasmania's highland lakes has been underway for decades. Now a more novel approach is being taken. Frisky males that have been sterilised are now being used to track down feral females before they have a chance to reproduce.
The effort to rid Lake Sorell of carp has been going on for nearly 20 years. Just 4 years ago, there were fewer than 50. Now the feral carp.
The results of the project won't be known until the end of summer. Jonathan Gould, ABC News, Lake Sorell.
It's the race that stops the nation, and it's also an international distraction, with foreign horses often riding off with the Melbourne Cup. 2011 winner Dunedin is back for another tilt, while this year's Caulfield Cup runner-up Dandino has been well backed. And this year, there's a number of classy gallopers based at the International Quarantine Centre in Werribee.
Track work early on the morning after Derby Day can be a struggle, but it's much easier if your horse has been a big winner the day before.
A little bit blurry-eyed, but in good form.
Play in their own World Cup. Jano Gibson, ABC News.
To the weather, and it was a 4 seasons in a weekend scenario. After yesterday's burst of summer, today was partly cloudy with scattered showers in the southern and mountain districts, and there was even snowfalls about the higher ranges. Skies were clearer in the north of the state. Thursday some showers and 20, Friday rain developing 19, and a wet weekend ahead with Saturday and Sunday peaking at just 18. Before we go, here again are tonight's main stories. Political parties are lining up for a dash to the High Court as early as tomorrow to call for a fresh Senate election in Western Australia. Investigators spent the day inspecting the wreckage of a helicopter crash near Melbourne's CBD. And some familiar names among the foreign horses hoping to take home the Melbourne Cup. And that's it for this evening's bulletin. Tune in tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. for News Breakfast. Have a great week.